so I couldn't leave before he does. If you can just give me 2 minutes, please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I would like to welcome you on behalf of NSSA. My name is Cathro Chidori. I am the chairman of the board in NSSA. And this afternoon, I have the honor of welcoming you to this very brief briefing by the ministry, in particular the Minister of Public Services, Labour and Social Welfare. May I introduce to you quickly Dr. Zenza, who is here from the ministry, and I also want to introduce the Permanent Secretary from the ministry, Mr. Masanga, whom some of you might know. As I said, it's going to be a very brief meeting. There is a statement that the ministry would like to make, and specifically regarding a very topical issue which some of you have been making all sorts of calls regarding the forensic audit which was conducted on NASA. Honorable Minister, thank you again for coming to this occasion. I believe these people need no introduction, and I invite you please to go ahead and give us your statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Dr. Chidori. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to this press statement where I would like to give you an update on the NASA forensic report. The Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare is in receipt of the NASA forensic report, which has also been placed before the NASA Board of Directors, which is led by Dr. Cuthbert Chidori, sitting on my right. The audit report covers the operations of NASA during the period from the 1st of January and from the 1st of January 2018, from the 1st of January and February 2018. We are in the process of reviewing the report and have engaged a special team of lawyers to offer us legal counsel after careful appraisal. We are also working closely with the Special Anti-Corruption Unit on the matters. The Legal Counsel shall properly collect the information to enable the board to decide on the appropriate legal route to pursue. Where the evidence warrants either criminal action or recovery through civil remedies, we shall pursue the same in the interest of justice. My role as the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare is to ensure the protection of the interests of the pensioners, and also not just the pensioners, other contributors who are covered by the Social Security Scheme, which is NSSA. It is therefore of utmost importance to guarantee the integrity of the pension fund and also all social security schemes provided in pursuit of His Excellency President E.D. Mnangagwa's 23rd vision, which is precisely anchored on efficiency, transparency, and above all else, good corporate governance. Thank you. We would welcome questions.
At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we will entertain questions, and the Minister is ready to address questions, if any, or comments, if you have. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Silvester. Logic will tell you that it would be inappropriate to tell the reader that you are looking for a legal opinion without telling them the contents of the report. It would be unfair for a reader, even the pensioner themselves, to hear of an action without hearing the contents of the report. Would you mind to share with the public some of the key issues which would warrant a legal opinion, also should warrant engagement of special anti-corruption unit? Then second, we hear that the report, though it's in bits and pieces, implicates the president, implicates Prime Minister of Labour, three of them. That is Mine Familia, Patrick Joao, and Michael Gondi. Would you mind to comment on those issues?
Maybe I could comment on that, because when the report was issued, the Minister was kind enough to forward the copies to the board, and I do not want to preempt anything that is in the report which will require further scrutiny and which in itself could be a subject for further discussion by the legal counsel that we have. It's true the report is quite extensive and it covers all the operations of NSSA, and as the Minister was briefing us just now, it covers the period from the 1st of January 2015 to the 28th of February last year. And the issues there which are covered in this report deal mainly with the operations of NSSA as the social security provider nominated by government. You mentioned the fact that we should probably tell the pensioner. NSSA is under obligation, and I say so maybe on behalf of the board as well. We are under obligation to secure whatever it is that the pensioners and any other contributors who contribute to NSSA should give towards the security schemes that NSSA itself has established. So these things at this stage will certainly be looked at in detail. There has been a full cover of certain activities which themselves will require further investigation. And in some cases where some of those things were not done properly, that is where we will require counsel from our legal advisors to assist us so that we can follow through on any inappropriate actions or inappropriate behavior by those who had been trusted at that time to oversee the operations of NASA.
Before we go further, sorry, may I just clarify the period that was covered? I know I wasn't very clear. The period covered for this forensic audit was the 1st of January 2015 up to the 28th of February 2018. Thank you.
If you can also introduce yourselves and then
my name is Silvester, Zimbabwean independent. What timeline are we looking at? When will we know the outcome of your conversations with the legal team? When will the audit be made public? Is there a specific timeline in this?
Honorable Minister, again there we have been very busy, and it is not a very short report, by the way. It is quite extensive and it covers quite a lot of detail. And we are aware that whatever counsel that would plow through this detail will also require its own time. But we are hoping that from time to time through the ministry and of course through our own teams that will be working with internally within NASA, we will be able to give full information. We have critical stakeholders within NASA who require to know from time to time what exactly is happening. And as we speak now, we reckon within the month we should at least be able to come up with another statement and come with some detail as to where everything is pointing to, and if indeed there are activities that we need to put in the public domain for the benefit of our pensioners and other contributors to our schemes, we'll certainly do that and make sure that they're fully informed. We have many partners who are very anxious to know exactly what NASA is doing. NASA itself is a custodian of these contributions, and we must be seen to have done our part in terms of making sure that there is transparency and also there is the integrity of the whole system that we use in dealing with the contributions from our stakeholders. So if you're looking at roughly about a month from now, we should be in a position to come up with a statement going forward.
My name is if my interpretation is correct, what prompted this forensic audit is a systematic lapse somewhere along the structure. And besides change of personnel, have there been any adjustments to the system that NASA has in handling patients so that we won't need another forensic audit in a few years to come?
A forensic audit is something which our principals are free to request anytime when they feel that there are activities which probably need to be elaborated on. So as we speak now, this is a forensic audit which was indeed under the auspices of our parent ministry. It's been carried out, and we are happy that the Auditor General has been able to wrap up her work. We received the report sometime in March, and we have been seized with this matter since that time. Well, I cannot say that maybe there isn't going to be any need for any future forensic audits. It's not for me to say, but I can only say that there was a need which was established by our parent ministry for a clear audit trail to be done as of now, and make sure that NASA is fully accountable and can be transparent in its own operations.
Chairman, I could also add to that and be quite open regarding issues to do with corporate governance. And when we look at corporate governance, we also looking at issues to do with decision making, accountability, and transparency. And those are some of the issues that necessitated a forensic audit that encapsulates what should really be looked at by a parent ministry such as mine. So as soon as I got into this seat as the new minister, I was concerned by issues of good best practice in corporate governance. So what we ensure to do going forward is that we will have best practice.
Thank you. My name is Zanu PF from newsroom.com. Maybe I could miss each other this other side. So when can we get hold of the forensic audit?
The forensic audit is a document which is specifically targeted at the moment to those who are helping us execute it. And I'm sure as time goes on, like any other audit report, the contents of that report will become some things which, if there are issues in the public domain, they will also come up in the public domain. But the report itself, as it is now, it is something which is solely for the execution of the people that have been asked specifically to do that. And it's not something that we can just give anybody in the streets to read as of now.
Maybe the reason I'm asking is because, like Son had said earlier, it will be very difficult for us to go and tell the public that don't worry, things are being investigated and sorted out at NASA when we do not know what things are being done. That is
Precisely that.
For you to give us maybe even a hint of, no, okay, this is something.
No, eventually it will become a public document, but I'm saying as of now, there are issues which have to be dealt with in a very, shall I say, formal manner, and that's why we also need the legal eyes that we have asked to assist us in that exercise. They'll go through it, they'll identify the issues that are contained in the report, and they'll report back to NASA, and we'll be able to take it forward and make sure that those things that are contained in the report, which require further investigation or which require other activities, can also be done, and this is done properly, legally, and all the parties that are involved will be held accountable. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I can just add, Chairman, through you.
Yes.
I suffice to also say that some of the key issues that emerge are to do, as I had mentioned before, to do with corporate governance, human resources, ICT, and fourthly, investments or properties, that's investments, and under the investment bucket, if you like. So within those four that I've mentioned, there are issues relating to what the forensic audit found, which we are not lawyers. We need legal counsel to collect, examine, unpack, and then advise. If there are issues or breaches of the law of a criminal nature, then the law will take its course. However, if there are issues to do with incompetence, which can happen, then we also need to be advised on how to proceed. But as a ministry, my main aim is to ensure that we do recover if their money is to be recovered, so that there is justice to the pensioners. I think I've given a lot already.
Yes.
Maybe just to keep it, public accounts requires that when the Auditor General, I believe, what the first audit was done under the auspices of Auditor General. And the public accounts demands that when Auditor General hands over the audit report to the Minister, she is obliged to table it in Parliament. That's where I believe so public accounts would demand that. So then the question comes in that probably why is this report being treated in a different manner? Is it because of names that are being implicated in? How come she mentioned ICT? We hear from the snippets of the audit report to say that it involves some senior staff in the OPC who are influencing entering of the ICT deals and everything, and also we hear that it implicates the president's name, minister's name, all those. Could that be the reason why there is kind of no timeline to say when will be the audit be made public? Not to give journalists, but to give, as required by law, to to give Parliament the report.
Thank you so much. I think you are very correct to say that it's an issue that will be handled to Parliament by the Auditor General, and I think she is the most qualified person to comment on the timelines of when this is going to happen. All we are assuring the media is that the forensic audit report is out and all the due processes are being undertaken, and you'll be advised in time when it is going to be made public.
I just wanted to find out, is a matter of background, what prompted the audit?
Like the Minister has already indicated, a forensic audit can be called or invited at any particular time. She was a new minister joining a ministry, and NASA is one of the key institutions that the minister has oversight of. And like any natural human being, you'd want to start on a pedal or at a level where you are aware of the issues that are happening within a big institution like NASA, and hence there is nothing untold about calling for a forensic audit. It's happening every day, and the audit report is out. The minister will be advised by the NASA board on the next actions that are going to be taken as regards forensic audit report. But all we want to assure the media that it's a process. It's unfair even to the NASA board to just take the forensic audit report and throw it into the media. The minister is advised by the board, and therefore recommendations will come from the board to the minister, and the minister will take the next steps necessary.
Robert from SlyMedia. Why from 2015? The forensic audits, not other 3 years back. Was it targeting someone else or something else? Why particularly from 2015? Do we have another one before?
Thank you so much. There have been so many audits in NASA, and some of the periods that you are referring to before have already been covered. In effect, every year there is an audit. It may not necessarily be a forensic audit, because forensic audit is a bit detailed than an ordinary audit. And therefore there are many, and I think you can consult at a later stage in NASA management just to give you the time frames and the audits that have been done before. It's this period which have not been covered by forensic audit.
Yes, I could just add on for purposes of clarity. NASA as a public institution is audited each year, so it doesn't mean that there hadn't been any other audits which were conducted in NASA before. This happened to be a forensic audit, which would have, of course, required again some of the special activities that maybe the Auditor General would have been requested to examine further, but there was an audit actually done. And I hasten to add that as NASA, we do have our stakeholders who are key for this organization, who we from time to time engage, and in the anticipation of what is at law, we need from time to time give them something which, if there are questions raised or if there are issues which are not in themselves clear from the audits, they can be further examined. And the Office of the Auditor General is very well qualified to do and interrogate any issues that are of interest to stakeholders.
Maybe the last two, the minister has other engagements elsewhere.
Out of interest, who did the forensic audit? Under the Auditor General's office, who was tasked to do the forensic audit?
That is something which is not so much within, shall I say, the choices or the means of NASA. The Auditor General was the one who was tasked with the exercise, and the Auditor General, from the reports we have been given and the correspondence we have exchanged with her, it's a firm called BDO who carried out the audit.
In fact, there was an advert, and everyone was free to compete due processes were undertaken and video was selected through a transparent book procurement system administered by the Office of the Auditor General. I think we...
May I just hasten to make a comment that we are not targeting anyone. And also, I think it would be quite unfair to mention names, may I say. This is a forensic audit that has revealed specific areas that require legal counsel. And that legal counsel will be able to present to us the information that will be properly informed to share with you. So I just want to make it clear that the forensic audit does not target anyone. We simply want to do what's right for the pensioners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone for participating. And Minister, thank you for your time. Chairman.
Thank you.
Our president conference ends here.
Thank you.
We have a few eats and drinks.